We of course hope to see Marc Marquez back in action in 2 weeks' time when we return to Masteria Hondo for the Argentinian Grand Prix, another circuit, much like the race that follows that, the circuit in the Americas, for the Grand Prix in the Americas.
Race day Sunday at the Indonesian Grand Prix.
Warm-up session this morning at turn 7 when he was violently flicked a good 15 feet in the air. I mean, it was one of the worst crashes I've ever seen, and I've been around in this MotoGP paddock since 1996. The good news, of course, was that Marc was relatively okay. He was concussed. The bad news rolled out of this Indonesian Grand Prix, which at the moment, unfortunately, has not yet got going. We are waiting patiently, as is the entire pit lane, hoping and praying that we will get the race action underway as soon as we possibly can. There's Razlan Razli, of course, from the With You RNF team. We just saw there Darren Binder looking as relaxed and as cool and calm as ever. Nothing will faze for the South African at all. Lynn Jarvis there looking on as well. Will Fabio Quartararo get the chance to start from that pole position? The 1:31.067 that he set just over 24 hours ago now is yet another big bolt of lightning the sky out of our commentary box position here, and then again there's another big clap of thunder. Unfortunately, the forecasts were absolutely spot on when we walked into the media centre this morning around 7:30 AM local time. First journalist that came up to me went, "Hey Matt, you do realise that there's going to be thunderstorms at about 3 o'clock this afternoon?" And I was trying to be as optimistic as I possibly could and said, "Hey, yeah, but we know how quickly the weather can change in this part of the world." Sadly, for once, that forecast was absolutely bang on the money. Let's pop back down to pit lane again and talk to Simon Craven. I'm delighted to say he's grabbed the quick word with Aussie Jack Miller. Down to you, Simon.
Jack, you're famous for being able to adapt quickly to changing conditions. Can you give us a bit of a run through how the weekend felt until now and what you're hoping for?
Yeah, the weekend's felt all right. I mean, starting 9th on the grid definitely wasn't what I was after yesterday in qualifying, but that's where we are. And no, I mean, a lot of things have changed today. You know, we planned on the 27-lap race, but then that got knocked back, and then the rains come in, so that sort of changed our approach again. So, I mean, 27-lap race was going to be a big old survival race, I think, trying to manage the tyres and whatnot. 20 laps sort of brought it back into safe range, let's say, where you could be able to push a bit more. Now having wet, you know, this should stop pretty soon, and when it does stop, I'm assuming it's going to pull up pretty quickly. And yeah, the track will not dry completely, but I think some areas will become dry towards the end of the race. But fingers crossed it just stops now. This should stop pretty soon, and when it does stop, I'm assuming it's going to pull up pretty quickly. And yeah, the track won't dry completely, but I think some areas will become dry towards the end of the race. But no, fingers crossed it just stops now and we can get back underway.
Jack, thanks for your time. Good luck.
Mate, thank you.
Yeah, thanks Simon, thanks to Jack Miller, yeah, echoing the sentiments of all of us here in Indonesia. We do hope that we can get underway. If you are just tuning in, we have a delayed start. Fabio Quartararo is not obviously expecting any action soon. He's got back in his team clothing. Oh, dearie me, terrible mistake. Was that his ice cream? Oh dear, that's the first mistake Fabio Quartararo has made all weekend so far. That's a little bit of a red face moment for our pole man and our reigning world champion. Now, this lady is doing some sterling work now. She's been out on the grid. She is trying to banish away this rain. We sincerely hope it does work, as Fabio Quartararo makes his first mistake of the weekend, dropping his ice cream tub. Let's hope it's the only mistake he makes of the weekend as well. Nothing that the riders and the teams can do, of course. All they can do is wait patiently and hope that we do get a break in this torrential rain. Pre-race, it was looking very good for Ducati. They had 2 bikes on the front row. 4 bikes have qualified in the top 6, including round 1 winner, Enea Bastianini. We've already heard the thoughts of the Ducati Lenovo rider, Jack Miller. Let's pop back down to Simon, who's got sporting director Paolo Ciabatti with him. Down to you guys.
Yeah, I was just saying to Paolo, we've been talking a lot about conditions and that already. What I would love to hear from Paolo's point of view is your 8 very impressive Ducati riders, you know, some rookies, some very experienced. I'd love to hear your
second season in MotoGP, but for sure to be able to qualify good and then to be so strong in the race and make no mistakes was amazing. Unfortunately,
Thoughts on each of them if you have time.
Yeah, sure. I think we have plenty of time. Let's hope the rain stops pretty soon and we can have a...
our riders lost a little bit of confidence, so they couldn't really feel comfortable on the bike. And from Jack's side, unfortunately,
Jangan pakai wifi lagi, handphone yang lain. Musing-musing aja.
race today because so many spectators and the president of Indonesia is here, so we must have a race, I think. What can I say? I think we were impressed positively.
back to Bezzecchi and Marini. I think they showed here that they can do very good, especially
By all the riders, obviously starting from Enea. You know, he did a fantastic job in Qatar, riding impressively. It's his second season in MotoGP, but for sure to be able to qualify good and then to be so strong in the race and make no mistakes was amazing. Unfortunately, if we talk about Pecco and Jack, obviously Pecco had that crash. You know that we were trying a few things during the weekend, so probably our riders lost a little bit of confidence, so they couldn't really feel comfortable on the bike. And from Jack's side, unfortunately, he had an electronic problem, so our fault. Here, I think we saw that we had 7 riders in the top 12, and the 13th rider is another Ducati Bezzecchi. So, I mean, all of them super fast. If we go back to Bezzecchi and Marini, I think they showed here that they can do very good, especially Marco is impressive here. I think Luca was very good during the test, but also for him, being on a 22 bike, he lost a little bit of confidence in Qatar, but he's gaining it back here. And also for Di Gianantonio, wow, Q2. So Fabio is also a rookie, which is doing very good. And obviously the Martin Zarco, we don't have to say much because they have been so strong all over last year and they continue to be very, very strong here, starting from the first row. So I think we will have a wet race. I think it's probably in a way better for us because if they do a shorter race, 20 laps with Fabio Quartararo, I think it would be very difficult if they can get a good start because he had an impressive pace on dry conditions. This conditioner, I think, will help us a little bit more. And then we see, obviously, rainy condition always a kind of risk and gamble. But all our riders are very comfortable in these conditions. So looking forward to the race.
Paolo, through testing, winter testing, it looked like you had found a faster engine, and Ducati never stopped developing. We see that. It looked also that the riders lost a bit of confidence, as you said. I can imagine soon that bike will be better than the 21 bike, but have you found the direction now, do you believe?
Yes, as you know, there are 3 different options of Ducati engines available this year. There is a 21 version, which is what the Gresini riders and Bezzecchi have. Then there is what we call hybrid version of 2022 with some features of a 21, and this is for the 2 factory riders. As spectators may know, the factory riders, you can choose one engine for both riders. On the independent team, you can use also different specs for different riders. But Jack and Pecco have this hybrid version, and then we have the 2 Pramac riders and Marini on the 22. I think the 22 showed here that is as good as. Hopefully there is some room for improvement, but I think the main problem was because we were trying a system that was probably not yet mature, as you can say, to be used in the race. So once the riders, we decided to go back to something more standard. In Qatar, riders had lost a little bit of confidence. So I think here we went back to a more normal setup, and the results prove that this is the right direction. So we have time during the season to bring into the race something new.
Paolo, last question for you. In the future, I'm thinking if that engine is faster, the 22 engine, and we get to somewhere like Austria and you've had time to develop it, do you expect it to start to shine there?
As you know, once you make the choice, it's made for the whole season, no? So we have to stay with the selection which has been made. And obviously, we think, honestly, to be totally transparent, it's so difficult to improve an engine like the engine we were using last year, because it already reached a very high level of performances. So obviously, engineers always try to do a little bit better, but sometimes the difference is really small. So it goes back to the feeling of the rider on that engine more than on the actual performance.
Paolo, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks to Ducati Lenovo team manager Paolo Ciabatti with Simon Crowfowl. We just saw there is the president of Indonesia. That's how big this event is for the nation of Indonesia. Mr. Joko Widodo present, hopefully to see some premier class race action here. The local announcers are doing their best to keep the fans entertained. We've just heard them there, I think, just singing the national anthem. Of course, this was a man who rode with 20 riders on that special parade in Jakarta, which Lewis attended. Gave us a real insight and a real flavour into just how popular MotoGP is.